to The Truth in This Art. I am your host, Rob Lee. And today, I'm excited to be in conversation with my next guest. He is a rug maker and the owner of Way Too Tuft. Please welcome Omari Martin. Welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate you, man. Happy to be here. It's a pleasure, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate you making the time. And again, going with that pun again, before we roll out the red carpet for the main topic, I want to give you the space to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, where you're from and things of that nature. And then we'll start, talking a little bit about your work. So the floor is yours to start off.
Okay. Appreciate it, man. So I'm Omari Martin. I'm 23 years old. I've been in the business of making handmade custom rugs for about a year and a half now. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I got a twin brother as well. And I just got him into making rugs too about 3 months ago. So he's making rugs too at Living Tuft.
Yeah, I can see it. Come on. I can see it now. It's just like Way Too Tuft instead of TOO. It's just going to be the number 2.
No, it's a TOO. But that would be that I might branch off and have another one Way Too Tuft.
Yeah, just have your brother just like, yo, G, you got it. So, thank you for that. And it's this running bit that me and my partner talk about. She's like, yeah, it's about brothers. Whenever there's any sibling related stuff, it's like it's about brothers. So, starting off, one, I gotta say, and I said it before we got started, I really, dig what you're doing. I dig your work. It definitely resonates. Definitely cool visuals, things that are familiar. So could you share with me, growing up, what were some of those things you were into, that were creative, that had like a visual component, and any early creative experiences? I find that, we may have been in something. We may have been like really into video games. And it's like, yeah, now I had a guest last week. He was like, I was really into video games when I was younger, and now I'm making orchestral music that is based on the video game scores.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I definitely had a lot of in elementary school, really just all throughout elementary, middle school, high school. I was always in some type of art class. But actually just a couple months ago, I was at my mom's house and I was just looking at some of the artwork that I did do back in the day. When I was younger, and some of it was it was like a rug, it was almost like a rug. It was some yarn, and I actually do remember me making it in class. I was really young, probably 10 or 11 or something like that. But I've always been in art classes, and I've always been around art. But I like music too, and I've made music, but I've never dropped any music or anything like that. But I've always been around art and stuff like that. So yeah, and I've always had an interest for it.
So being around art, having it, do you think of that when you're approaching what you're doing? Actually, let me step back. How did you get into rug making?
Yeah, I got you. Okay, so I was working at Target for about 2 years, and I just really didn't like it. So I was like, I gotta, and also I like to spend money. So I was just buying a lot of stuff. And then one day I was like, I need to have my own business and then sell something to somebody else, because everybody's selling stuff to me. So then I got on YouTube. I saw 2 videos of how to make rugs. And prior to that, a couple months ago, I was gonna buy a rug, but I just didn't. I just didn't. And then me and this girl that I met at NCCU, I used to go to Central in North Carolina. We started doing rugs at the same time, and then I just stayed pretty consistent with it, and I'm here now.
That's great. That's great. So having that sort of, I like making money. I like spending money. Now I can try to make money and actually provide
on my business.
Yeah. So I read that Tuft rugs, that style. So describe what that style is, because I at first up here when I read your IG, I was like, are you doing the that's tough, because that's what we say up here in Baltimore? And I was like, where are you from again, bro? So tell me about what is a Tuft rug, and and talk about some of the origins. You said you discovered it on YouTube, right?
Yeah, YouTube. So the tufted rugs are made out of 100% acrylic, and I have a frame and I shoot them up, and I project like the image. I don't know really too much of like an origin, but I know it goes like rugs go back like really far, like hundreds and hundreds of years. Like there's so much history behind it. And I really need to look into it too. Because a lot of people have been telling me about it, just like little small things. But yeah, the tufted rugs, I can make them any size, any design, 100% acrylic, and I do like a 3D sculpting with these with the clippers that I have, so it gives it like a 3D effect, so they like pop out, and then I have them really even and layered out, and they're soft too, so that's what a lot of people like too as well. So like kids have them in their room or something like that, but they're more of like an accent rug, so keeping them in like a low traffic area is like what I really recommend.
Yeah.
But I can also put them on the wall, put mirrors on them, a lot of stuff. You can anything you can think of, really.
And we're gonna go further into that. And thank you for that start off, because like I see that, and as I was talking a little bit before we got started, that there's a lot of different, tufted rug makers out there, and all of the puns that you guys like to use, which is great because I enjoy those. And it was one of those sort of, from what I understand, one of those sort of pandemic, like trendy pandemic, like hobbies. And you know how it goes. You start something during a certain period when you have a lot of free time. And then when life catches back up, it's like, I don't know. But you were touching on staying consistent earlier. So, what is it about like doing the rugs that really, caught you and kept you like, rotting and kept you interested?
Honestly, I never really had a business, so just starting out, I know. Okay, so I used to trade, and like I really had a good mindset of just staying consistent, and I really just have a good mindset of really just staying consistent with whatever I do, really. So when I started doing the rugs, it was really fun, honestly, and just making whatever I want, that was pretty crazy to me as well. And then nobody else was doing rugs, so I knew, but I also felt like I was late when I started out. So I was like I saw rugs going on for about like a year, and then I started. So I was like, oh shoot, I got to get in the game and figure out what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what also kept me consistent, because I was like, I gotta figure out how to get to the top, and just keep going and staying consistent. That's what's been working for me, to be honest.
So I see in it, you showed me one for those who are not so privileged to be on this illustrious podcast. You showed me the DR one a second ago, which was really cool. And I've seen like different like sort of sports related stuff, pop culture related stuff that are in your works. And definitely I see like the sort of commission, and I see your own like sort of sensibilities in some of the work. Like, who or what are you inspired by? Like, yeah, talk about that. Like, who or what are you inspired by? Because I see things that definitely I'm like, that's really dope. That's cool. That relates. That's definitely some inside Black stuff right there. I'm here for it. So tell me about some of your influences, some of your inspiration as to how you go about doing your work.
For me, I really work with a lot of like artists. Well, really, I work with anybody that wants a rug. So that's businesses, artists, musicians, anybody that you can think of. So I'm not really coming up too much with the idea. Overall, I'm just creating the rug. But when I do create rugs, like just on my own, I'm just making, I really have I kind of know what people like. So I just kind of just make what I feel like is good, just trust my gut. And then, I just put it out there and just, have faith.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just work with whatever anybody else is thinking, and we just collaborate together.
Talk more about that sort of process when you like, set that stage for us. So, let's say me, which it might be happening, I want a rug. How do we go through the process? What does that look like?
It's really, really simple. I just need the design that you'd like. We'll talk about the sizes, and I go from 2 feet all the way up to 6 feet. And I have a graphic designer as well. So if you don't have a design, we can get that done as well. And the 50% deposit.
Yeah. So they hit you up via the socials or what have you. Just got people hitting you in the DMs like, y'all need a rug.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like that. Or I've been getting like emails more this year. So that's been good. There's been a lot of like accounts that have been actually like trying to scam people too. So I honestly prefer like people email me so they know that it's more like legit.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're DMing me too. So I mean, it's my account. I know. I just pray that they don't, get scammed and stuff like that, because it's like, dang, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of weird things that are going on out there, and people want something. And you touched on it a moment ago, having a sense of what people want. People want something that's unique, and what you were describing there, as far as like some of these designs, like I saw this one, I think it was for like maybe Golden State Warriors or what have you, and I'm like, yo, that's not a rug to me. That is just something I'm mounting on my wall right there. That is, that's going into the sports den or what have you. And you were touching on it, like, they're low traffic rugs, they're accent rugs. And, having them, like, I'm in my studio right now, and I might hit you up like, yo, take my logo, turn it into a rug, I'm gonna mount it on my wall. That's what's happening.
Right.
And, it's painting to me with acrylics, with the thread.
The gun that I have, it's definitely painting. It's more, like what I just did. It's totally painting. Like if everybody could see it, it's crazy.
So did you ever have any interest in like painting, or like sort of maybe broadening what you're doing? Because you said you've been doing it for what, like a year and a half?
Year and a half now, yeah. I used to paint. Like I took some classes. Like I said, I took some pottery classes. I did take some paint classes. I painted a bear one time. It was pretty good. But my mom lost it. But it's okay. But I still remember. But yeah, I wouldn't really get back into painting, to be honest. I really want to just focus more on like the rugs and just figuring out like how I can like become like a Nike, but rugs, Way Too Tuft, or something like that, along those lines eventually. But, I'm a solo artist, so I'm just figuring it out. But I can teach people as well. So that also works out with me. And then I like teaching as well. So I really want to get into that too. Moreover, teaching people, because a lot of people want to learn, and it's pretty satisfying and pretty fun.
Yeah, when you're able to make your own thing and realize like, I have this idea, and you can really like kind of blow out this concept of making these tufted rugs. It's like, oh, I'm doing this in this way, and seeing it progress to the next level.
Right. And a lot of people think that it's hard too, or that they can't do it. And that's what I like. I like people that think that they can't do it, because it's like, I'm doing it right here. So, I'm a prime example. Like, you can do it.
What is the most challenging part of it? Is it, someone with a really intricate design? Is it sort of maybe the time component? Like, what sort of time goes into putting together a tufted rug? Like, using, for an example, the one you just showed me, the Dior one, like, how long was that?
Right now I can probably finish a rug in like 2 days, depending. Like this one I finished in like 2 days, but I'm always juggling rugs at the same time too. So I'm like, at the same time I made this one in 2 days, I probably shot up two or three other rugs, or put the back on another rug, or finished up another rug, or order commission or something like that. So, but I usually would say about, like, for commission times, I say about 2 to 4 weeks, just to give it like some space, because I am always juggling some orders at a time. So, yeah, but I'm doing about 2 days.
Yeah.
But it depends though. That's on like 2 to 3 feet. When it goes up to like 4 to 6 feet, it'll probably be like 3 to 4 days, just depending on like the design, and then also finding colors as well, because yeah, that's like probably like the most time consuming part, me driving around the stores trying to find all the colors and stuff like that, because I'm not gonna just like, oh, I'll just use this one. I'm like, oh, we're gonna find the color, so we're gonna go to every store till we find it. I don't know how long I gotta drive, but we're gonna get there.
So with using the acrylic material, is there any opportunity? Because I don't know a lot about the material outside of like seeing in the finished product. Is there a way to maybe get into like, hey, I'm able to make my own dyes, and now dye this sort of base, and now I have these like colors you're not finding anywhere else, making you even more like exclusive?
Yeah. I've seen somebody dye some yarn before, and but I just haven't gotten into it. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I definitely want to, though, like dyeing my own yarn, and then maybe even turning that into something where I could, turn that into a business too as well. So
You have your exclusive yarns just going out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wait,
Or I think the yarn that I've seen them making, it was color changing. So it was crazy. It went from like purple to pink. It was insane. So that's why, yeah.
I
But I've
mean,
only seen it once. I only saw one video ever.
that's
But
gonna be
of
yeah.
course, I've seen them in like India making or India or just wherever dyeing the rugs their that natural way. But the other way that I saw it was color changing. It was crazy.
I mean, I can see that as just like a whole different thing. And even going back to your desire to not only, do your business and grow your business out, but also to like teach, that could be really interesting. Like I'm waiting for that master class, like let's
Oh
make
yeah,
it.
sure. Yeah, I'm definitely. It's in the works. It's everything takes time.
So we talked about a little bit of the challenges, like kind of finding like the material at times or whatever, trying to getting that right color, and also having like multiple projects or multiple timelines, and you're independent. You're an independent person. You have a graphic designer, but it's you. What part of the process, like from the concept to getting that sort of initial message, whether it be, let's say emails, let's avoid social media moving forward. Let's just say emails, getting that
Right.
initial sort of response to, it's going out, it's being shipped, it's being delivered. What's the most exciting part of the process for you?
Definitely. What would I say? I like every part, but I guess it would be shipping it out and getting it rolled up and out of here. It's definitely a satisfying feeling. Like, all right, we got it done. Like completely though. Like, so
Do,
yeah.
do you have a number of like how many you've done?
I do not. I had a number, but I kind of lost track a couple weeks ago. So I just gotta just count it back up. It's not too many. It's probably like 200, a little more than 200, maybe I don't know, something like that, 250, maybe something like that.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah, I be going crazy. Like I can push out like two a day sometimes. Or it was one day I made like three rugs, so that was the most I ever made in a day. That was like four. But it's like how I did it. I had it like one day I shot them all up, and then the next day I finished them all. But they were all kind of simple designs, and I'm faster now and way better than I was last year. So
I hear you. What comes to mind when you think of like one of those early rugs that went out, and talking about sort of the progress, right? Of, for context, like in the 4 years that I've been doing this, it's been like 600 episodes, 600 interviews that are on here, and definitely seeing sort of the progress, seeing sort of the approach and the changes, kind of what you were touching on there a moment ago with your work. Thinking back to like that first episode and thinking about like, okay, this is what I was aiming for. This is how I got it. I remember it like it was yesterday. Do you remember the first one that you sold, you put out? What was it?
yeah, I definitely remember it. It was a Panthers rug actually, so it was perfect. I like the Panthers anyways. I don't like the records that they make, but yeah, I definitely made a Panthers rug. And my dad, he was like, when I first started out, he was just connecting me with a lot of people that just wanted to, they were like, oh, a rug, what's this? Like, and my work wasn't too bad. So when I started out, because the first rug I ever made was a Kendrick Lamar face. So I started off really hard. um, yeah, that was the first one I did. And then for my brother, I made him a Pokemon, a Lugia. And that was like one of my first pictures. And then I also made a Prince. Those are the first three rugs that I made for people.
That's not all in one area, by the way. Those are different disciplines. You got sports, you got the anime component, the gaming component, and then you have music or what have you. So I dig it. So in terms, because like I became aware of you on social media, and I saw you on because I did my research, saw you on like Voyage Riley or what have you. Like, oh
Yeah.
I was like, my man's down there. So and down there, have you been able to like go to any like markets or things like that where they have like makers, and being able to, like show some of the stuff that you worked on in terms of inventory, to use that as a marketing channel, if you will?
I was actually at an event yesterday.
Nice.
But the funny thing is, I've really only been to 4 events now. 2 weeks ago, I was in Atlanta for another art event. It was more of like networking and everything, but it was like an art show. It was really good. That was really fun. It was really good at networking. But I've really only been to 4 events. I've really been doing everything online, because when I started out, I was like, I can definitely reach more people online. It's millions of people. It's crazy. So that's how I started out. But now I'm starting to go to more events and show my work and show my face and everything like that.
Oh yeah. Because I can just see it now, like, yeah, this is what I got. But hit me up in the DMs. I got some other stuff if you need it.
Right. Yeah, I can make it happen, definitely.
So is there like a typical, and I would imagine it's pretty broad, but is there like sort of a typical demo, typical type of customer that would be, interested in who typically buys what you're selling, what you're making? Because I see definitely, as I touched on earlier, definitely has like a black tinge to it, the sports tinge to it, the music tinge to it, and knowing what people like what generally is the profile of the customer that's like hitting you up looking for those commissions?
It's really random, man. Honestly, like businesses will hit me up. Right now, a lot of marijuana companies I've been working with a lot of marijuana companies, but I'm working with some restaurants, HVAC people, but also just people that have random artwork that they want to get made. A lot of artists, just anybody. So, yeah.
Yeah. I could definitely see the business hitting you.
That's how I wanted it, though. To be honest, I didn't really want to have like a certain audience. I wanted everybody to be able to know that like I can make anything and anything is possible.
Oh yeah. I definitely can see like businesses hitting you up like, man, we got our brand identity. We want it on a rug. Can you make it?
The first, one of the first like bigger businesses that I worked with was Black and Bold, the coffee that's in like a closet. Yeah, I worked with the owner. Yeah, I got 2 rugs for him. So yeah, that was one of like my first like bigger businesses that I was working with, and then I just been working with a lot more businesses since. So,
well, here. Yeah. So I got one more real question for you. And thank you for indulging, like, putting out there your business is your baby. This is the thing that you're doing. And I love hearing it. Is there a dream project that comes to mind? Like if someone hits you up in the DMs, email, what have you, like, is it a rapper? Is it a business? Is it a brand that's hitting you up that you're like, oh my God, I would love for this to happen? Like, what's that dream project? Set that stage for size, scope, who's the brand? Who's the person?
Well, I kind of got it in the works right now, but I want to work with Bel Air and Rick Ross and
Really?
Brett Barish. Yeah, I really want to work with them. But other than that, I mean, I want to work with everybody, but I really want to work with them. That's about it. I never really thought about working with anybody. So, but I'm actually a brand ambassador for Grateful Clothing.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd love to work with anybody, to be honest, but I definitely want to work with Bel Air.
What is the like? What is like the least expensive rug that you've done and most expensive that you've done, and like just to have that sort of range for folks that might be interested?
Okay. Well, my least expensive price right now is $550.
Mm-hmm.
My most expensive price right now is $2,000. And that's for the 2 feet all the way up to 6 feet.
Nice. So do we have the range? We have everything you're capable of doing. You're crushing it. I love it.
Yep. Any colors, any shipping's $20. I can ship to all 50 states. I can't ship international right now, but I'm trying to figure it out. So I got to go to, I meant to call DHL today, but I'm probably calling them tomorrow and try to figure out something with the international shipping because it's so expensive. Like it's like $150 or like maybe sometimes it says like 200 and then I can't do it.
that's dead right now.
Right, yeah, y'all don't want to pay that, and I definitely can't.
So with that, I want to move into the rapid fire portion of the podcast. If you've listened in the past, you know how this goes, and don't overthink. They're simple questions, fun questions, but they're all right. What are you currently listening to, watching, or reading? You can pick any of the 3. But what are you currently like ingesting from a pop culture and media perspective?
Right now, really for like the past like ever since I started making rugs, I've been listening to Detroit music. So like Babyface and like GT and like everybody, but like everybody from Detroit though. Like Skilla Baby, Ice Reeves, everybody. But that's what I've like mostly been listening to. But I listen to everybody, R&B. I listen to all the hip hop, everybody. But like when it comes down to it, like when I'm working, like it's gonna be something in Detroit because they really be hustling. Like, and it like it's not just like this year music or last year. Like it might be like like some 10 years ago Detroit music that I might like. But they really motivational and like inspirational in their music. So yeah.
I went down that rabbit hole. I remember when I discovered like Baby Tron, and then I just started going down this rabbit hole of Detroit like scam rap. I was like, yo,
like there's more of this?
Sauce.
It's like, this too? This is crazy.
So in 3 words, they don't have to be 3 words together like a sentence or anything, but in 3 words, 3 terms, 3 traits, describe yourself.
What's it? Ambitious, persistent, and patient.
See, you did that very well. What is your philosophy, motto, or approach to life?
It is what it is.
It's very Black. I love that. It's like what it is, man. Lastly, as I touched on earlier before we got started, y'all like the puns. Y'all like those tufted puns. What is your favorite pun? Is there a pun that comes to mind for you?
No, I don't really have a favorite pun. Not at all.
I was gonna say your brand. That's your brand.
Yeah, my brand. Yeah, my brand Way Too Tuft. But other than that, no, not really.
Well, that's pretty much it for the pod. You know, not like pulling teeth or anything. Very simple. So one, I want to thank you for coming onto the podcast and spending some time with me. And 2, I want to invite and encourage you to share with the listeners where they can check you out, Way Too Tuft, website, social media, all of that good stuff. The floor is yours.
Appreciate it. Yeah, you can check me out at Way Too Tuft. That's WayTooTuft. And that's on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. My website is waytootuft.com. My email is waytootuft@gmail.com. And I can do anything you like, make anything happen.
And there you have it, folks. I'm going to again thank Omari Martin from Way Too Tuft for coming on to the podcast. And I'm Rob Lee saying that there's art and culture in and around your neck of the woods. You just got to look for it.